is Ice Skateboard, and we're back at it again. Today, we have another community custom spotlight video. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some custom army cards for figures that you might already have in your collection, even if you have them accidentally. I am talking about figures from the Arena of the PlanesWalker board game. Before we get to those army cards, let's answer the question. What is the Arena of the PlanesWalker board game? Arena of the Planeswalker board game was created by Wizards of the Coast. You might know them from games like D&D and Magic the Gathering. Well, Arena of the Planeswalker was created using their Magic the Gathering IP, released in 2015. My assumption is they sent an intern down to the basement to pick up some paper, and they stumbled upon the D&D master set of Heroscape. And they brought it up, and they were like, "Hey guys, what's this doing down here?"
Nice.
And everybody just started playing Heroscape, and they're like, bruh, I have an idea. What if we put our Magic the Gathering figures on this board game, bruh?
Oh my god.
And that is how Arena of the PlanesWalker board game came to exist. Those MTG bronies designed AOTP, just for abbreviation, using Heroscape's gameplay frame, meaning they had glyphs, they had almost the same army card layout, except they weren't hexes, they were just these nice little long rectangles. And they used the famous Heroscape map building hexes, but slapped on some Magic the Gathering figures. Unfortunately, this game was not as popular as they thought it was going to be. It only had one expansion and another master set after the original AOTP. And it only came with like maybe 6 hexes, and they were all yellow. So there was barely any height advantage to begin with. The game itself was really fun. I will confess I got into Heroscape because of this game. I had a heavy background in Magic, so I picked up this board game thinking, wow, what a time to be alive. Magic the Gathering and Heroscape together. Turns out I was wrong. Although Heroscape and AOTP did have the similar game mechanics, AOTP added an extra layer with magic cards.
Huh?
These cards are placed separately from your army cards in a deck. These decks are made of 12 cards max. Each card has a point value that is shown at the bottom of the card. The deck is capped at 200 points. Obviously, if you're homebrewing, you can move those points up and down. You draw these cards each turn and utilize them to affect gameplay, such as battle or buffing up one of your squads with like an enchantment. So the Arena of the Planeswalker set comes with 35 figures. 5 of those figures are painted unique heroes that represent a section of the color pie. So one hero is aligned to blue, one hero is aligned to green, one hero is aligned to red, one's aligned to black, and one's aligned to white. The remaining 30 figures are unpainted, but they come separated into 3 figure squads, and each color has 2 squads assigned to them. But Skateboard, what the heck is a color pie? As much as I want to break down this board game into its magic terms and mechanics, that would have to be a whole separate video. But if you guys are interested, leave a comment and I'll add it to my to-do list. Speaking of army cards, let's bring it back to today's community custom spotlight video. Starting Zach from the Heroscape Discord. Zach has provided me with some army cards for the blue aligned figures of the AOTP set. As stated before, there's many army cards already out there for these figures. Can be found on the Heroscaper's website. But I have contacted Zach because he has a brain with Magic the Gathering in it, and has designed these cards with Magic the Gathering in mind. Now that our oven is preheated, let's open that bad boy up and throw these army cards, and let's see what Zach has baked up for us. From the distant plains of Rin, welcome to the stage, Jace Bellerin, representing the Vidar General. Jace Bellerin comes in as a human, unique hero illusionist, Some describe him as tricky. He is 5 hexes high. Got all of our short kings out there. 3 life, pretty squishy. He can move 5 spaces, can shoot 5 spaces away from him. A whopping 4 attack dice, with a measly 2 defense dice. And if you want his services, you're gonna have to pay him 90 points. Alright, let's see what our boy Jace Bellerin can do for us. Jace Bellerin has the ability called Spark Double. If Jace is attacked by a normal or special attack, after attack dice are rolled, you may exchange Jace with a medium illusion figure you control within 5 clear sight spaces of Jace. If you do, the illusion becomes the target of the attack instead and rolls no defense dice against it. I really like the Spark Double ability. It does a good job at showcasing Jace's illusion powers. It can be kind of annoying for your opponent if you're trying to kill Jace and this man's just teleporting around the whole map. But overall, it's pretty creative. Good stuff here. Jace's next ability is called Unraveler of Secrets. Enemy figures engaged with Jace or with an illusion figure you control reduce their attack and defense values by 1. But what secrets has Jace unraveled? Well, Jace has learned that Sergeant Drake Alexander is lactose intolerant. So all of Jace's illusions engaged to Drake carry milk and cookies to weaken his attack and defense by 1. Oh man, that's horrible. The last ability on this army card is called Illusionist Gambit. After revealing order marker on Jace, and before taking Jace's turn, you may take a turn with a unique illusion hero or squad. Without trying to get too deep into the MTG lore, Jace is a mind mage. He has the ability to create illusions as described in this card. He also has telepathy and forms of configuration. This card alone does a pretty good job at showing off how he can read your opponent's weaknesses and use it against them. How you can control his illusions and create some as the game goes on. Gameplay wise, I can see Jace being a pesky mosquito that you try to smack and then you open your hand and nothing's there, and next thing you know you get poked again. And that 4 attack combined with the defense debuff from the secret unraveler can pretty much spell lights out for your opponent's squad figures. Our next army card submitted by Zach is called Jace's Illusions. What's better than 1 Jace? How about 3 more? Jace's Illusions is an illusion type, unique squad, construct, and they're also tricky. They mimic Jace's height at 5, 3 little short kings, 1 life each, can only move 4 spaces, have a range of 2, and only have 1 attack dice. But the defense is 5. And you got some 40 points. That's chump change. These Jace's Illusions have an ability called Contingency Plan. Jace's Illusions do not start the game on the battlefield. Once per turn, after moving with the unique illusionist hero you control, aka Jace, you replace 1 Jace's illusion figure on an empty space within 4 clear sight spaces of that hero. Illusion guys come in and are like, Jace, I'm here to catch a grenade for you, Bruno Mars style. And Jace is like, thank you, because you honestly didn't have a choice. The second ability on this armor card is called Dispel. Jace's Illusions do not roll any defense dice against normal attacks from adjacent figures. So, if you've got him in your scopes and you're trying to hit him from range, he's going to defend himself. This illusion's like, nah, I ain't going down like that. But, if you're right in front of that illusion, straight in the illusion eyes, it's just going to disappear. It's like, ha, you caught me. Goodbye now. I like the setup Zach created with this squad and Jace. It really gives Jace an extra ability, sort of to say. Trying to figure out which illusion is Jace going to switch with is also something that an opponent has to keep in mind. And it's true to Jace's nature. In like Magic lore, you're trying to swing at him, but in reality, you're just swinging at Illusion Jace. And it's pretty cool. Good stuff there, Zach. The next army card is called the Murmuring Phantasms. These are part of Jace's lackeys. They will also follow Vidar. They are an illusion, unique squad of course, constructs, and they're also terrifying. I mean, look at them. They each got 4 arms. What are you gonna do with 4 arms? You can make 4 hot dogs at once, I guess. They're a large 6 with 1 life only. They can move 6 spaces, shoot 4 spaces away, can swing for 3 attack, but also defend for 3 defense. It's called a part of the 3-3, the tree. And they come in weapon 85 points. Let's see what these Murmuring boys can do. Their first ability is called Smell Fear. Murmuring Phantasms do not need line of sight to attack. So that means it's gonna smell your opponent's sweaty armpits from 4 spaces away. I hope they brought some deodorant. Their second ability is called Incorporeal. When defending with Murmuring Phantasms, each shield roll blocks an additional hit. With 3 defense, each of these Murmuring Phantasms can block up to 6 attack dice, given they get the trifecta defense. And their last ability is called Phantom Walk. Murmuring Phantasms can move through all figures and are never attacked when leaving an engagement. These Murmuring Phantasms don't sparkle, they don't shine, they just try to get the job done. They're good war machines with good abilities, ready to clean up whatever is threatening their Papa Jace. That Phantom Walk is honestly something I always forget that my figures have. And I'm over here always rolling for disengage attacks until I look down and I'm like, oh my god, I have Phantom Walk. Silly me. With this community spotlight video, I'm going to do something a little bit different from my first one. Since I actually own these figures, I took them for a spin in a little 1v1 playtest arena. I want to just put a disclaimer, I'm not a professional Heroscape player. I'm just going to explain how I personally felt about these figures, how they played, how they felt, anything I felt they lacked a little bit. On the first playtest game, I put up the Jace army, aka the Jace Illusions, against the Frostclaws and Irene. The Frostclaws are more of a melee-centric squad, and they struggled against the Jace Illusions pretty bad. The debuff from Jace made it difficult for the bears to land anything on these illusions, let alone Jace. It always felt like they were just kind of hitting air. Towards the end, after Jace cleaned up all the bears, it was just Jace and Irene standing, but being able to keep spawning illusions made it hard for Irene to land the final blow on Jace, and it ended up being overwhelming for the poor Frosty Bears.
Round 2. Fight.
Coming up hot after their first game, the Jace Illusions, they felt confident. Their second opponent was 2 squads of 10 Reggies with Marcus. As you kind of expect the 10 Reggies do what the 10 Reggies do. They went up the hill and started raining fire on those phantasms. Unfortunately, those poor phantasms didn't have enough time to become a threat, leaving Jace and friends just running around the map trying not to get shot. The second ability, Unraveler of Secrets on Jace, it's really helpful when the opponent's army is melee, but it was kind of useless on these 10 Reggies because the illusions never really got into position to be engaged with them, so they never really got debuffed. Towards the end, Jace managed to kill 1 squad of Reggies, but lo and behold, it was 4 left, and just took them out. My boy Marcus didn't even get a swing. So next I want to talk about the strengths and the weaknesses of this Jace Illusion build. I'll start with the strength first. One of the strengths is they're very strong against melee builds. Because of the Jace Illusions, Jace can spawn an illusion right next to an enemy figure, which First, it debuffs them. It takes away 1 attack and 1 defense thanks to Jace's Unraveler of Secrets. Second, if that figure wants to try and go and attack Jace, it's gonna take a disengage attack, and that already puts the opponent in a very tough situation. Another strength is Jace's ability to spark double. At, at face value, it just kind of shows him moving from illusion to illusion. But if your opponent tries to set up a ambush surrounding Jace with like 3 figures, on 1 attack, Jace can just poof, move to another illusion, and the whole turn is just pretty much obsolete because they don't have a target to hit anymore. And the last strength, at least in my eyes, is how creative and unique this army is. You have to be very strategic on where you place your illusions and where you place Jace, and how easily you can get out of sticky situations. This army is not rush your opponent to the middle and try to take them out kind of army. You kind of have to go around the edges, try to scope them from a distance with the murmuring phantasms, while Jace kind of cleans up from behind the lines. It's a fun playstyle. I think you guys will enjoy it if you give it a try. One of the weaknesses is this army feels like a glass cannon. Once the phantasms get destroyed, it becomes like a game of cat and mouse with Jace. Jace can only spawn so many illusions before the enemy manages to catch up with him, and he won't be able to teleport. And it's 2 defense, he won't back that much after that. Also, heavy range builds have proven challenging for the JCs, such as the 4th Mass or the 10 Regis. They're able to outrange the Phantasm and disrupt them before getting into position. And since they aren't engaged to any illusions, they don't risk losing their stat values thanks to the secrets of Jace. One thing I would like to see, if I was to tell Zach something, it would be changing the Phantasms from unique to common. The Phantasms hold most of the firepower of this army, and being only 3 figures, once they're gone, it's the only offense is just Jace, and he can only do so much by himself. Alright, so next I want to talk about some synergy with this army build. I built a 500 point army using the Jace illusions as its core, which counts for 215 points. I'm just going to name off the army cards and then go into depth as to why I chose those army cards to be in this build. So first we're going to go with Jace Belladine at 90 points, Jace's Illusions at 40 points, Murmuring Phantasms at 85 points, the Nikita Agents at 120 points, Agent Skahan 110 points, and Otanashi at solid 10 points. I built this army around the tricky personality as well as Jace's resilience. I believe if we can keep Jace alive long enough, he could be able to take down your opponent's heroes while your other figures take out the squads. So we're going to start with Otanashi. Otanashi here serves as a low risk, high reward figure. 10 points is basically just a throw in. With a supporting cast of all these tricksters, she'll almost always move 10 spaces. This will allow her to get into favorable positions for either height advantage or a good solid attack on some figures. Agent Skahin is the next figure. She's one that I'm most excited about in this build. She has a double attack with a range of 7 and attack 3. So if you get her on some height advantage, you can swing 4 attack at range 7, twice a turn. And if that's not deadly enough, she has an ability called Cover Fire, which pretty much summarizes if she deals damage to a figure, she can move any tricky figure 4 spaces. So in 1 turn, she can move 1 tricky figure 8 spaces if she successfully hits. That can move up your Otanashi or your Jace, and she can protect herself with her ability Stealth Dodge, which is just gravy on top of the mashed potatoes. And my last army card here is the Nikita Agents. I picked them for defense. I like their smoke powder ability. We're going to keep those agents next to your illusions the whole game. They're going to be like their shadows. Their smoke powder ability allows them to get rid of any hit zones if you roll a 13 or higher. from range attacks. So that's covering the weakness I mentioned before about long range. And what I like is that they're tricky. So they mesh well with Agent Skaheen. I built this army as a offense through defense mentality. A majority of these figures in this build have a protection ability such as Stealth Touch, or they have a hefty defense on their own. This will make it difficult for your opponents to just steamroll through your army, as they might have to focus fire on your heroes or just even your squad figures. If any of you have these figures on hand, I recommend you give them a try. And if you lose, just blame it on Skateboard. Tell them, hey, Skateboard built this. And they're probably gonna be like, who? As I begin to wrap things up here, I strongly encourage you to try the Jace Illusion army that Zach built. It's very fun and unique, and I think you guys will like it. I want to give a big thank you to Zach for allowing me to show off his custom army cards to all of you. If you are on the Heroscape Discord under the custom tag, let him know, hey Zach.
That was pretty cool. Pretty cool cards.
Or if you want to give him some constructive feedback, let him know in the comments. And while you are in the comments, let me know what you thought about this video. I'm always looking for ways to improve. Kindly leave a like and a sub if you want me to tackle the remaining 4 colors of the AOTP board game. And that's about it, guys. See you guys on the next one. Peace.